Now, look, listen. You want to hear the reason I didn't cancel it? I didn't cancel it because I'm gonna need an Uber the next couple of days before I leave to go out of town. Like, so I can't wait on the car or whatever.
Making sure that it's live. Awesome. We're good now.
All right, yeah, this is Madhu and Lou here with Jon Horford from the 2013 Michigan Wolverines squad that faced Louisville in the finals.
Hi, John. How you doing? Thank you for making the time for the interview.
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. So we would love to start with some questions, just kind of, we'd love to hear your thoughts on kind of the experience of actually, first making the tournament, and then, the week in terms of preparation ahead to get in before the tournament. It was like spring break, obviously. And so was it any different in terms of the practices and scheduling, preparing for the NCAA tournament at the time versus just kind of regular Big Ten conference games?
Not necessarily. I feel like the coaches went about it in a similar way that they would have a regular season game. I mean, towards the end of the season, practices aren't going to be as taxing. We watched a good amount of film. The scouts are new. In the Big Ten, you see everybody twice usually. Right. So, towards the end of the season, you're seeing them for the second time. So you're kind of familiar with it. We're seeing new teams that we hadn't played before. And but the coach always did a great job of preparing us. Coach Beeline, he's notorious for his long film sessions, but I really feel like it benefited us going into the tournament.
So yeah, what do you get in those film sessions? Like when you're trying to break down a Rick Pitino team, who's had tons of film on him over the years. What are you trying to look for? How do you actually prepare?
When you're watching film, you're looking for not only team tendencies, okay, so in this situation, these are the plays that they're going to run, or to start the game they're going to do this, or the majority of their shots are threes, or this team in particular runs a ton of pick and roll on this side with these two players. But you're also looking for the individual tendencies, okay, so this guard, super strong right hand, anytime he goes off a screen, he's gonna pull up, just so you kind of know what's coming. Not to say that that's what's going to happen every time, but just to know that more than likely, these are his habits. These are the team's habits. So when you see certain things happen, you can react in certain ways or somewhat expect a certain result, which is good and bad, because if you get too locked in sometimes and then they don't react the way that you expect them to, it can throw you off. But
it's how different is a team on film, when they come in on game time? How easy is it to say oh, I've seen this in film, I know what they're doing, versus this is a variant that you're throwing in?
Humans really are creatures of habit. So 90% of the time, they're doing what we've seen in film. It's normally not a surprise. Big men especially, a lot of them are mostly set in their ways. If he gets on the left block, he's going to take, 2 dribbles, hook shot, 2 dribbles, has to come back to his right hand. People normally don't switch it up too much, and it's usually not a surprise. I would say, yeah, but sometimes people will surprise you, Spike in that game against Louisville. I feel we knew he could do it. I don't think people knew he could do it. So
when you have a teammate that had just having out of body experience and that's just going off. Do you feed the hot hand? What do you say to him during the huddle?
Or do you not say anything at all?
Oh no, you let him go. You let him go, and you just encourage him and be the best teammates that you can be, and obviously let him know that we all have his back. Everyone supports him. Keep doing your thing, because in a situation like that, it would be easy to get caught up in the mindset that, okay, well, this isn't what I normally do. Maybe it's time for me to back off. But it's no. Keep doing your thing. We trust you. We trust you.
Dang, that's awesome.
So yeah, when you're scouting Pitino's team's known for their high pressure defense, press defense, like how do you work like in practice, like make sure that you can like beat the trap, like understand like what they're doing on the defensive end?
That's where like the importance of a scout team comes in, right? So
Right.
the scout team will just have them mimic Louisville's defensive tendencies, but on an amplified level. So if they're really high pressure, you know, the coaches will say, all right, we're not going to call fouls. We need you guys to pressure these guys, get up in them, slap them, hit them, you know, push them, be very aggressive just to get us ready. And then obviously Coach Beilein's teams are known for taking care of the ball.
Mhm.
I think this year they're doing really well as far as that goes. I think they might be top in the nation. But in least turnovers. So we do a lot of passing drills, just working on, you know, taking care of the ball, valuing the ball. And I feel like that's the most important thing you can do against teams who try to speed you up, try to turn you over, and try to take advantage of those turnovers.
Yeah, with that high pressure defense, like how hard is it to get like into your like offensive like sets and like actually like start the motion? Like
it just depends. You know, it's always going to vary. You know, some days everything gels well. Some days there are little hitches. But I feel like the offense at Michigan doesn't. We never really had too much of an issue against, you know, high pressure teams. Another high pressure team that people always used to rave about was VCU. You know, and their havoc and
I remember that game. Yeah,
the full court press and all that stuff. But if you have great passers and great athletes like we did, great shooters, I mean, we broke it like that. Yeah. So, you know, you just have to use people's strengths against them. You know, they're trying to pressure us. If you can stay calm, cool, collected, and see through it, and not, you know, and not speed yourself up, and don't let them change your pace of play, you can use the strengths against them.
Yeah. One question, you know, I would love to ask you is, you know, for the casual fans, I think a lot of us watch the game, especially the Beilein offense for the past couple of years, and we love it. I think the cutting and also just the three-point shooting, the fluidity of the game is awesome. But what is the best thing about Beilein's offense that a casual fan wouldn't understand, that they just would not get from watching?
What I love about Beilein's offense is that it's mostly read based, so everyone has to be on the same page. You know, so if I go and, you know, set a pin down to the corner, depending on whether my man, you know, curls me or pops out, that determines what I do, which determines what the guys on the other side do. And it's just like you all have to be in sync. You all have to flow together. And the options are endless. Like there's like Coach Beilein, literally like the options, there's like almost 200 options out of like his two guard. Like it's crazy. Like in total, like it's there. If you do this, we have a counter. There's a counter for everything. Now, in the heat of the game, are we always going to perfectly execute all these counters? Absolutely not, because we're human. And it's very complicated when you have five individuals trying to do all this on the same page. But for the most part, people struggle. Like I still run into guys, you know, playing now who I played against in college, and they're like, man, we hated playing against Michigan. Like we never wanted to guard your offense. Like we didn't know what to do. We didn't know what was coming. Like we would stop you here, and then you just react this way. But I think it's very cool. I like it. It takes a little while to get used to. But if I was a coach, I would probably run a variation of Beilein's two guard.
Dang.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's the Michigan difference, man.
It really is the Michigan difference. Yeah, you have to use your head. You have to use your head.
And then on the flip side of that, which is, if you do still remember this, is when you guys were actually watching the films on the 2013 Louisville team, do you remember any specifics that the coach mentioned or any assistant coach mentioned specifically about kind of the strengths and weaknesses?
Just, you know, they had some really good shooters. They had very fast guards. What I remember the most was the pick and roll defense, and our coaches really emphasizing like these guards, Siva and Smith,
Right.
They're lightning fast. Like, you have to be up in the pick and roll, and you have to be ready. Because when they're going,
like step out on a quick guard like that, knowing that like they could probably get around you, and then they have like bigs that just crash the boards pretty much like every single time a shot's put up.
what? I didn't hear the first part of the question. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So what is it like knowing that you have to like switch on like a quick guard like that who can either, like shoot it or like take to the basket?
Yeah.
And if they put up a shot, like their bigs just crashing the boards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, at least at Michigan, we didn't really switch it too much.
Okay.
Our job would be to contain and to not let them get too far downhill.
Mm-hmm.
And our job is to contain them long enough for our point guard or our guard or whoever's getting screened to get around the screen and back in front of the offensive player, who would be the point guard going downhill. But against those guards, it was really tough to do what we normally did because they're moving so quickly downhill, and it's really hard for the guard to get back in front, our guard to get back in front. So switching kind of happened a little bit. Our coverages weren't exactly what we planned for them to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at Michigan, it would be like we would do more of like a show, like a hedge out on the screen.
Got it.
Enough to send the guard like out towards half court, the offensive guard out towards half court, so he had to take a back dribble just to give our guard time to get back in front. Right?
Yeah.
So against their guards, they were able to get downhill a little bit, and not too much. I feel like from what I remember, we did a pretty decent job on them. But the pick and roll, the whole pick and roll defense, it seems so simple, but there's like so many factors that go into it that it's really complicated. And
yeah, because I was wondering, it's like when you're showing on those pick and rolls, especially for guys like Siva, like, are you scared about the fact that they're going to split the double or split the show?
A little bit. I mean, it's not necessarily scared, but it's just, I mean, it's something that you want to avoid.
Right.
And it's something you think about. But normally, I mean, if our guard can get into their guard to slow down his momentum so he can't get a full head of steam going downhill, and then we're up to touch, which means I at least have my hand on like the small of the back of the man who's setting the screen, it's really hard for the guard to get in there and split, you know? But if those two things, if I'm not up to touch and I leave space and there's a window and our guard doesn't stop momentum going downhill, for a guard as quick as, Russ Smith or Siva, it wouldn't be difficult.
Got it. All right. No, I really appreciate like the time that you spent this morning. So
that was a pleasure.
Yeah. And also we would love to, continue to chat and get your thoughts during halftime. I think
absolutely.
Your thoughts on it, get your perspective would be really awesome.
Yeah. No, let's do it. Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you for watching, and
Stay tuned.
Yeah, thank you guys. Go Blue.